Welcome back to Quarter Dollar, the place where ordinary pocket change turns into unbelievable treasures. Today, we're diving into the world of state quarters, coins you probably see every day, but a few of them can sell for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Imagine pulling out some change to pay for your coffee and realizing you're holding a coin worth more than a brand new car. That's the kind of shock value these rare quarters bring. Asterisk in this video. I'll show you the exact state quarters collectors are chasing. From dramatic minting errors to overlooked varieties hiding in plain sight. Some of these coins, even when worn and dirty, have sold for jaw-dropping amounts you'd never believe. Asterisk, so stick with me until the end. Because one of these quarters could very well be sitting in your change jar right now. And if you love uncovering coin secrets and rare finds, make sure to subscribe here so you never miss the next episode of Quarter Dollar.
First up, we've got the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, and at first glance this one might not look like much. The coin is worn, discolored, and has lost most of its mint shine. You can see the heavy spotting and corrosion across the surface, almost like it has lived through decades of pockets, purses, and rainy days. But don't be fooled by its condition. Sometimes it's these ugly duckling coins that shock collectors the most. Asterisk, look closely. This coin features the peach at the center, the proud symbol of Georgia, surrounded by the words wisdom, justice, moderation. But what makes coins like this so valuable isn't just the design. It's the errors and rarities that slip through the mint's fingers. Imagine finding one of these with a double die error, where the letters or numbers look doubled, or a dramatic off-center strike where part of the design is literally missing. Those kinds of mistakes can turn a dirty 25-cent piece into something worth thousands. Asterisk. This Georgia quarter is especially exciting because it was part of the very first batch of state quarters ever released in 1999 that launched changed coin collecting forever. And people hoarded these coins like crazy. But here's the kicker, not every quarter was struck perfectly. Some had misaligned dies, some had weak strikes, and some were even struck on the wrong plankets. Collectors have paid over $10,000 for rare error versions of this exact state quarter. Imagine holding a coin that looks this worn and realizing it could be hiding a life-changing flaw. Asterisk, and don't think condition alone decides the value. Sure, in high grades, mint state 67 and above, Georgia quarters can bring in hundreds of dollars because so few survived in pristine shape. But even in circulated condition like this, the right error can send the price skyrocketing. Just last year, one sold at auction for nearly $18,000 because of a dramatic off-metal strike. Asterisk, that's why I always tell viewers, never dismiss the dirty, beat-up coins. Each scrape, each mark could be covering a minting mistake that turns ordinary into extraordinary. If you're looking at your change and see the Georgia peach, take a second glance. It might just be the most valuable 25 cents you've ever held. Asterisk, so the big question is, could your everyday pocket change be hiding a Georgia quarter worth thousands? Stay tuned because the coins only get rarer and the values even more shocking from here. Next up, we've got a coin that celebrates Kentucky, the 2001 Kentucky State Quarter, and right away, this design pulls you in. On the reverse, you see a beautiful depiction of a thoroughbred horse standing behind a wooden fence. Gazing out at my old Kentucky home, a historic mansion that symbolizes the state's deep ties to both tradition and horse breeding. This combination of architecture and agriculture instantly sets this design apart and makes it one of the more admired coins from the state quarters program. Above the design, the word asterisk Kentucky asterisk stands proudly, with the year 1792, the year Kentucky joined the Union, reminding collectors of the state's early role in American history. Down below, the issue year 2001 anchors the piece in the modern commemorative series. Asterisk, the obverse of the coin features the classic George Washington portrait, with United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and quarter dollar inscriptions, just like every other quarter. But what makes this coin truly special lies in the details and, of course, its potential value. Take a close look at the surfaces of this example. While it has been in circulation, the details are still fairly sharp. The horse, the fencing, and even the windows of the house are well defined. A good sign that the strike quality on this one held up well. But as with many quarters from this era, the real excitement comes from error varieties. Asterisk the 2001 Kentucky quarter is known among collectors for having some fascinating mint errors, like double dies where inscriptions appear doubled, off-center strikes that cut into the design, and even die cracks that can leave raised lines across the coin. These errors can transform an ordinary-looking quarter into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a coin like this in your change and realizing it could fetch more than $5,000 at auction. It's the kind of surprise that keeps collectors searching. Asterisk condition is always key. And while this coin shows a bit of wear and circulation marks, higher grade uncirculated examples are highly desirable. Coins graded MS65 or above, especially with sharp luster and no visible scratches, can go for hundreds of dollars even without an error. Add an error variety into the mix, and suddenly you're talking values soaring into the five-figure range. Collectors especially prize coins with strong doubling on the motto "In God We Trust" or on the word "Liberty", as these are immediately noticeable and rare. Asterisk. What's also fascinating is the sheer symbolism packed into this small piece of metal. Kentucky is world-renowned for its horse racing, and this design honors that heritage beautifully. At the same time, my old Kentucky home ties it back to a deep cultural and historic identity. For collectors, that combination of meaningful imagery and the chance at rare minting errors makes the Kentucky quarter stand out from the massive 50-state quarters program. Asterisk. So, the next time you come across one of these Kentucky quarters in your pocket change, take a second look. It might just be an ordinary 25-cent, or it could be one of those elusive varieties worth thousands. Now, moving on, let's see what other surprising treasures the State Quarter series has in store for us. Next up, we've got the 2006 North Dakota State Quarter, a design that instantly captures attention with its bold imagery of two American bison grazing under the rising sun. At first glance, this coin looks like just another piece of pocket change. But collectors know better. This one holds secrets that can make it worth far beyond face value. Asterisk the reverse shows the bison, a tribute to the rugged strength and untamed spirit of the Great Plains. You can see the sharpness of the detail still holding up nicely, even though this particular coin has been circulated. The sunburst adds a dramatic backdrop, reminding us of North Dakota's entry into the Union in 1889. On the obverse, Washington's profile stands firm, with the D mint mark clearly visible struck in Denver. What makes these coins so fascinating is not just the design, but the wild range of errors that came out of this issue. Asterisk. Among the most notable is the double die error on the obverse, where collectors have found extra impressions on Washington's features or the lettering. Another sought-after variety is the misaligned die strike, leaving parts of the design slightly shifted, which can push values into the hundreds depending on severity. There are even instances of clipped Plankett's quarters missing a chunk of the rim, which always draw heavy attention from error specialists. Asterisk. This coin's surfaces tell their own story. Notice the mild wear across Washington's cheek and jawline, flattening that once bold profile. On the reverse, the bison show signs of rubbing, particularly on their shoulders and legs, where the high points have smoothed out. Yet even with circulation marks and small contact scratches, it retains enough detail to show collectors what makes it special. Asterisk. In terms of value, a well-worn circulated example like this might only bring in a few dollars. But the real treasures lie in pristine, mint-state pieces. An uncirculated 2060 North Dakota quarter graded MS66 or higher can fetch $150 to $300, while near-perfect MS67 examples have sold at auction for over $1,000. If you're lucky enough to uncover a dramatic mint error, values can skyrocket further, with some selling in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. Asterisk. Think about it. One quarter pulled from a coin roll, change jar, or even the cash register could be hiding a payday that big. That's the thrill of coin hunting, Never knowing when an ordinary-looking piece of pocket change might reveal itself as a rare gem, asterisk so. As you sift through your state quarters, keep a sharp eye out for those North Dakota issues, especially with strong detail and minimal wear. If you spot doubling or strange rim shapes, don't dismiss it. It could be the sign of a valuable mint error. This is one coin that shows just how deceptive appearances can be, proving again that some of the most exciting finds are hiding in plain sight. Next up, let's take a look at the Delaware State Quarter. The very first coin issued in the 50 State Quarters program back in 1999, this piece features Caesar Rodney on horseback, commemorating his historic overnight ride in 1776 to cast his decisive vote for American independence. Now, if you look closely at the surfaces of this particular coin, you'll notice heavy circulation and plenty of oxidation across both sides. The reverse, with Rodney's horse, has patches of deep brown toning, almost staining the design, while the obverse with George Washington's profile shows a faded look with grime tucked into the lettering. The word liberty is worn down, and the "In God We Trust" motto has started to fade around the edges. This coin has definitely been in pockets and cash registers for decades. Asterisk, even with all this wear, this Delaware quarter still carries a story of immense significance. Being the first state quarter ever struck, collectors rushed to pull these from circulation, which is why finding one in this condition is both ordinary and extraordinary. Ordinary because so many circulated, but extraordinary because this specific coin shows every bit of its long journey through countless hands. That adds a sense of history you can feel just holding it. Asterisk, now let's talk value, because even circulated Delaware quarters can surprise you. A well-worn example like this typically hovers around face value, maybe 25 to 50 cents in bulk. But here's the twist: high-grade mint state Delaware quarters, especially those graded MS67 or higher, can bring in anywhere from $150 to $500 at auction. Some examples with pristine luster and sharp strikes have even soared into the $1,000 range. And let's not forget the errors, off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned hubs can catapult a Delaware quarter's worth into the thousands. One such major error example sold for well over $3,000 not long ago, shocking even seasoned collectors. Asterisk, so while this coin in front of us might seem like just another dirty quarter, don't let its rough surface fool you. The Delaware quarter is iconic. It launched an entire generation of state quarter collecting, and it remains one of the most sought after for error hunters. Always check your change, because even the most worn-down coin could turn out to have a rare variation or an overlooked minting mistake hiding in plain sight. Asterisk, and remember, we've only scratched the surface here. This is just one coin in a sea of valuable state quarters that could be sitting right in your pocket. Next up, we're taking a closer look at the 2000 for Wisconsin State Quarter, one of the most talked about coins in the entire 50 State Quarters program. At first glance, the design is simple and proud. It features a cow, a round of cheese, and an ear of corn, with the state motto forward boldly displayed. It's a fitting tribute to Wisconsin's agricultural heritage. But here's where things get really interesting. While millions of these coins were struck for circulation, a small number carry one of the most dramatic and valuable modern mint errors ever discovered. Asterisk, this coin is known as the extra leaf variety. Collectors discovered that some 2004 Wisconsin quarters struck at the Denver Mint had an extra leaf on the corn stalk, either a high leaf or a low leaf. These extra leaves were not part of the original design and are believed to have been the result of intentional die alterations or accidental gouges during production. Regardless of how they happened, the discovery caused a frenzy among coin collectors and treasure hunters alike. People began rushing to banks and change rolls, hoping to find one of these elusive error quarters hiding in plain sight. Asterisk, the value of the Wisconsin quarter with the extra leaf error depends on its condition, but even in circulated grades, they can fetch between $200 and $500 in higher grades, such as mint state examples. Prices can soar past $1,000. There have even been auction results where pristine specimens sold for several thousands of dollars. simply because collectors are eager to own one of the most unusual varieties in the entire state quarter series. Compare that to the face value of just 25 cents. And you can see why the Wisconsin quarter has earned a legendary reputation in the hobby. Asterisk. What makes this story even more exciting is that these coins are still being found today. Imagine checking your spare change after a trip to the grocery store and realizing you're holding a quarter that could pay for a new TV or even a vacation. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's not just about history, but also about the chance of stumbling upon hidden treasures in the most ordinary places. Asterisk. So, the 2000 for Wisconsin state quarter isn't just another coin, it's a reminder that every coin in your pocket has the potential to hold a secret. The extra leaf varieties turn a simple state quarter into one of the most desirable and valuable coins of the modern era. And who knows? The next one might be waiting for you in your pocket change right now. Next up, we have one of the most talked about coins of recent years, the 2020 American Samoa quarter. Also called the Bat Quarter. Now, at first glance, it may just look like another design in the America the Beautiful series, but this coin sparked worldwide attention. The design shows a Samoan fruit bat mother cradling her pup, and while it was created to raise awareness for wildlife and conservation, it was released in early 2020, right when the world was reeling from the start of the pandemic. That timing gave this coin an unintended level of curiosity, controversy, and even superstition. Collectors everywhere wanted to own one, and demand skyrocketed. Asterisk. The obverse still carries the familiar portrait of George Washington, but it's the reverse that steals the spotlight. The level of detail is fascinating, from the delicate wings wrapped protectively around the baby bat to the tiny features of their faces. It's a design unlike anything else in US coinage history, and that makes it instantly recognizable. Many people who don't even collect coins know about the Bat Quarter, and that kind of cultural impact is rare in numismatics. Asterisk. Now, let's talk value. While millions were minted, pristine examples in high mint state or with special finish can sell for much more than face value. A standard circulated coin might only bring you 25 to 50 cents today, but those in brilliant uncirculated condition or special collector sets often trade between $10 and $30, and here's the kicker: error coins, especially those struck off-center, with die cracks or with missing design details, have been reported selling for hundreds of dollars. Some rare graded specimens in top MS67 and MS68 condition have crossed the $500 mark at auctions. Asterisk. What makes this coin so appealing is the perfect storm of timing, symbolism, and rarity in high grades. Collectors love stories, and the Bat Quarter story will always be tied to the year it was released. It's more than just a piece of metal. It's a time capsule of a global moment, forever stamped into US coinage. Asterisk. So if you ever come across a shiny 2020 American Samoa quarter in your pocket change, don't just toss it back into circulation. Give it a closer look, because it might just be worth far more than 25 cents. Next up, we have the 2007 Idaho State Quarter, a design that so many collectors recognize instantly because of its striking detail. The reverse of this coin proudly features a majestic peregrine falcon in flight, with its wings outstretched and eyes that almost seem alive. Alongside the bird, you'll notice the outline of the state of Idaho and the Latin motto Esto Perpetua, which translates to "Let it be perpetual." This phrase captures Idaho's timeless spirit, symbolizing its natural beauty and enduring heritage. The design is bold, eye-catching, and unlike anything that came before it in the State Quarter series. Asterisk. Now, what makes this quarter truly exciting is the mix of history and value tied into it. The peregrine falcon isn't just a random choice, it represents resilience. Once endangered, this bird made a remarkable comeback, and Idaho chose it to embody strength and revival. That alone gives the coin a story worth telling. But collectors also know to look closely at the details, because that's where the money comes in. Asterisk. In circulation, the Idaho quarter is fairly common, but in pristine uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher, they can sell for impressive amounts at auction. Some examples have crossed the $1,000 mark when perfectly struck with no visible flaws. Errors make this coin even more thrilling. Off-center strikes, double-die varieties, and coins with striking defects have been documented, and these can raise the value drastically depending on rarity and eye appeal. Imagine pulling an Idaho quarter from pocket change and realizing it's worth hundreds. That's the kind of shock factor that keeps collectors hunting. Even circulated coins like the one you see here still have their charm. They've traveled through years of hands, yet they carry a story bigger than their face value. And that's the magic. A coin minted for just 25 cents can sometimes turn into a prized collectible, holding both history and monetary surprise. So the next time you come across an Idaho quarter, don't just pass it off as another state coin. Take a closer look. You never know if you're holding one of those rare pieces that could make your collection or even your wallet a whole lot heavier. Next up, let's talk about the 1999 New Jersey State Quarter, one of the most historically meaningful and visually striking coins in the entire State Quarter series. This coin takes us back to one of the most famous moments in American history, George Washington crossing the Delaware River during the Revolutionary War. Even in this circulated example, worn from years of use, you can still clearly make out Washington standing tall in the boat with his soldiers. A reminder of courage and determination at one of the toughest points in the nation's fight for freedom. Now, this quarter is part of the very first set of state quarters released in 1999. That's what makes it so special to collectors. The U.S. Mint launched the program that year, beginning with Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. Millions of Americans instantly became interested in collecting coins because of this program, and that means the 1999 quarters will always carry an extra sense of importance. They were the ones that started it all. The New Jersey design in particular stands out because it captures a real piece of history, unlike some other designs that focus on landscapes or symbols. Here, you get an actual scene that feels alive, almost like a small piece of artwork in your hand. Looking at this specific coin, you can see that it has been well used. The edges show some wear. There are green patches of corrosion in places, and Washington's portrait on the reverse has softened with age. To a casual person, it might look like just another old quarter, but to collectors, condition makes all the difference. A circulated coin like this might only be worth face value, but in uncirculated condition or with special mint errors, the story changes dramatically. Minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints in 1999. These quarters had a very high production run, over 363 million from Philadelphia alone and nearly 300 million from Denver. Because of that, common circulated pieces aren't rare. But when you move into higher grades, that's where the real value appears. Quarters graded MS67 or MS68 can bring hundreds of dollars at auction because they are so tough to find in pristine condition. Imagine holding a coin struck perfectly, with no scratches or blemishes. From the very first year of the program, collectors go crazy for those. But there's another layer of excitement: mint errors. Some New Jersey quarters have been discovered with double dies, off-center strikes, or even being struck on the wrong planchet. These error coins are the real treasure hunts. Depending on the type and severity of the error, they have sold anywhere from a few $100s to well over $1,000. That's the kind of hidden jackpot that makes people check their pocket change every day. So what about the coin we have here? Clearly, it has seen a lot of circulation with decades of wear. This particular example won't sell for big money, but it still has historical charm. For someone starting a collection, a coin like this is still worth saving. It tells a story and fills that important 1999 New Jersey slot in a state quarter album. And who knows? Maybe one day this coin sat in the cash register of a small town store, traveled across states in someone's pocket, or was passed along during an important moment in someone's life. Each scratch is like a memory of where it's been. That's why collectors value these quarters, not just for the metal, but for the story they carry. And remember, if you ever come across a 1999 New Jersey quarter in near-perfect condition, or better yet, one with a known mint error, you might just have a valuable piece worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Next up, we have the 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter, one of the earliest releases from the popular 50 State Quarters program. Right away, the design stands out for its bold symbolism. The reverse showcases the outline of Pennsylvania with a statue of the Commonwealth goddess at its center. She holds a ribbon-top staff, representing authority and freedom, while to the right are the words virtue, liberty, independence. These three ideals are deeply tied to Pennsylvania's identity, especially as the birthplace of American independence. On the left, the Keystone symbol sits prominently, tying into Pennsylvania's nickname, the Keystone State. It's a design filled with historic weight, making it a meaningful addition to any collection. Asterisk, this particular coin shows noticeable circulation wear. The details on the Commonwealth statue are softened, the Keystone symbol lacks its sharpness, and the inscriptions have dulled over time. Still, even with its worn surfaces, the imagery is recognizable and carries its historic message clearly. Collectors often find circulated coins like this appealing because they've passed through countless hands, symbolizing everyday American life while still holding ties to the larger story of independence and freedom. Asterisk, the obverse features George Washington's bust, the same portrait used on U.S. quarters since 1932. The inscriptions United States of America, In God We Trust, Liberty, and $quarter circle the design. On this example, the demint mark just below Washington's ponytail tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, like the reverse. The obverse shows where, particularly around Washington's hair details and facial features. This is typical of a coin that has spent more than 2 decades in active circulation, though it remains easily identifiable and collectible. Asterisk, from a historical perspective, the Pennsylvania quarter is incredibly important. As the second coin issued in the 50 State Quarter series, it sparked excitement among collectors and the public when released in 1999. Pennsylvania's role in American history, from the signing of the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia to its keystone position in the nation's founding, makes this design even more significant. While millions were minted, certain errors from this series can fetch impressive prices. Known varieties include double dies, off-center strikes, and even examples with clipped plankets. Depending on severity and visibility, such errors can transform a common circulated coin into one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Asterisk, for regular 1999 Pennsylvania quarters in well-worn circulated condition like this one, the value usually remains close to face value 25 cents. However, in higher mint state grades, especially MS 65 and above, they can sell for $10 to $20, while flawless examples graded MS 68 by PCGS or NGC may fetch several $100s. Add in the right error variety, and values can jump significantly higher, sometimes surpassing $1,000 depending on rarity and collector demand. Asterisk, what's special about holding a piece like this is that it connects to worlds, the everyday change we've all spent at some point, and the deep heritage of a state central to America's independence. Even in its worn condition, this 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter carries a story worth preserving, reminding collectors of both its place in U.S. history and its potential value in numismatics. Here we have a 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial Washington quarter, struck to honor the 200th anniversary of American independence. Unlike regular quarters, the reverse shows a colonial drummer standing proudly with a torch of victory encircled by 13 stars, symbolizing the original colonies. On the obverse, we still see George Washington, but with the dual date 1776 to 1976, which instantly makes these quarters stand out from the rest. The example you've got is in circulated condition, with patches of oxidation and surface wear, but the historic design remains clear. Collectors love these coins for the story they tell. They aren't just currency, They're a piece of the Bicentennial celebration that swept across America in 1976. Billions were minted, but condition, mint mark, and striking errors can make a world of difference. A regular circulated bicentennial quarter is usually worth around face value, maybe 50 cents to $1 in nicer circulated grades. But when you get into uncirculated, proof, or silver-clad versions issued in special collector sets, values climb significantly. A brilliant uncirculated piece might bring $10, $20, while silver bicentennial quarters can sell for $40, $80, depending on grade. And the real surprises? Error coins, misstrikes, double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchette errors have fetched hundreds and even thousands at auction. One dramatic bicentennial quarter with a double die obverse sold for over $3,000. And certain full-step silver versions in pristine condition have shocked collectors with hammer prices that keep climbing. The real beauty of this coin is the nostalgia it carries. Anyone who lived through the bicentennial remembers the parades, the fireworks, and the patriotic pride, and these quarters were right there in people's pockets, serving as a daily reminder of the nation's journey from revolution to modern America. Today, holding one feels like holding a snapshot of 1976 itself. So, while your example shows its years of circulation, don't underestimate it. This isn't just a quarter. It's a slice of American history, a collectible that connects everyday people to one of the most celebrated milestones in the nation's story. And who knows? If it turns out to have a rare variety or minting flaw, it could be worth far more than you'd ever expect. That wraps up our lineup. Each of these coins, whether worn or shining, proves that history, rarity, and errors can turn simple change into treasures worth collecting.